Today we're going to be reviewing a very special video on how Chef Brian makes his egg fried rice at home. More specifically though, how he makes it for Uncle Roger.
Oh my god.
Now, let's get started.
Chef Brian Tsao here, not your typical chef, and today I'm going to be showing you how I make egg fried rice. That's right, Uncle Roger, I'm coming for that Uncle Brian title. You best look out, because I'm going to show you how you do this at a conventional Western style kitchen that you keep shitting on people about, but gotta walk. You know what? I got several walks. Watch this. See, one walk, two walks. I got 3 walks.
Take no prisoners. Brian is right out of the gate going after the uncle title and after Uncle Roger. Now, if Uncle Roger was reviewing this, he would probably say something along the lines like,
"Walk fuckboy." Let's talk a little bit about our cooking vessels. Now, ideally for a fried rice, you have some kind of wok. I just prefer a wok or a wok style pan because the sides are very tall and rice is very small, and as you spin that around and cook it, it'll actually catch more of the product. Again, you can do it in this. If you cook a smaller quantity, you'll have less of a chance of rice falling to the side. With that out of the way, we're going the wok.
Brian's 100% right about this. It is so easy if you are cooking rice in a shallow saute pan that when you go to toss it, that rice will spit. It will go everywhere. Also, we're seeing that Brian is using a non-stick pan today. Now, why is he using it? So the bloody rice doesn't stick to the pan. Unless you have a very well-seasoned wok, it is very easy for the rice to stick to the pan like a you-know-what, or even the egg for that matter.
Next, you are gonna need some kind of vessel to help move the product inside the pan. I am going with this rubber spoon because this is a non-stick pan. I don't want to scratch it up. If this was a regular wok, it was all metal, you can absolutely use a metal utensil. But again, for the sake of this video, I am using a rubber spoon.
We're not going to be seeing Brian pulling a Jamie today by using a spoon in a non-stick pan.
8 minutes in a hot...
No, HAIIYAA, no. Metal spoon on non-stick pan.
Also, when you go to clean it, be very careful not to grab the Scotch pad and scrape the you-know-what out of the non-stick. Someone recently scraped the you-know-what out of one of my omelette pans with a Scotch pad, and now I am 1 pan down.
So let's go over some ingredients. And of course, for egg fried rice, we're gonna need eggs. And for my egg fried rice, I like to do 1 egg per portion. So 1 for me, and 1 for Auntie Helen.
You would think that when you put the name of the product in the title of the video that it would be in the video, but that's not always the case. I mean, just look at Jamie's butter chicken video. He didn't put any butter in it.
Another important ingredient, rice. More importantly, day-old rice. So I made this yesterday. Oftentimes in my household, we will make enough rice for 2 to 3 days in one go, and whatever's left over from that day's cooking, I'll put into a container and keep it in the fridge, and that's exactly what I have here.
I need to get a rice cooker. I still don't have one. I mean, once you start using a rice cooker, it's so easy to use that you won't want to cook it anymore. Maybe it'll be something like Star Trek with the replicator, You can make anything you want, it just appears, no skill.
Here I have a whole bunch of scallion. I'm really not gonna use all of this, probably more like 2/3 of it. A couple cloves of garlic, just like my egg. 1 for me, 1 for Auntie Helen.
I didn't know that Brian had a thing for Auntie Helen. Ooh, Uncle Roger, careful, huh?
Soy sauce. Plain regular soy sauce is fine. Don't use any of that whack-ass less sodium. Go full sodium, all right? Go big or go home. Sesame oil.
Since Brian and I do tend to review the same videos, and even sometimes, by coincidence, on the same day, this has happened a couple times, I think he's referencing right now Rachel Ray, because she has mentioned more than once, like 50 different types of soy sauce that you can use.
You can also substitute 3 tablespoons total of soy sauce, low sodium soy sauce, liquid amino, or tamari.
Bogus, just use what you can get.
The unsung hero of Asian cookery, ground white pepper. And how could I call out Uncle Roger if I don't come armed with some MSG?
MSG.
I couldn't get Sasa Indonesian MSG, but I got the next best thing. It says made in Indonesia, Miwan. Never heard of the brand, but MSG is MSG. We're gonna use some of that in this dish today, all right?
Brian, you need to do more cooking videos, huh? I love the honesty. I've never heard of this brand either, honest. But you can't get the other brand, even in New York. My goodness, you'd think though that in New York, like London, like a lot of big cities, you'll be able to find whatever you can.
Let's mince up this garlic. There's this little root end over here. I'm just gonna cut that off. We don't want that in our fried rice.
A very good tip. You don't leave the root of the garlic on. And if the garlic starts sprouting, you need to slice it down the middle and remove the little germ that's starting to sprout.
Let's crush the garlic. All right. And then just quickly mince it up. You want to go on the finer side. You don't want it to be too big and chunky. And that to me is a nice minced garlic, and that's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote? I haven't heard that saying in years. Now, when it comes to the garlic for egg fried rice, at home, you probably have fresh garlic is the most common thing to have, but some restaurants will also use dehydrated garlic. Dehydrated garlic doesn't burn as quickly. And when you have a powerful wok station, it makes a difference because otherwise the garlic will burn instantaneously.
We're gonna cut off these root ends. We don't want that in our final product. And I'm also gonna cut off the top green part and use this for garnish. And I'm doing like, I don't know, 1 millimeter thick. And this is actually gonna go in the beginning. And I know I shit really hard on Jamie Oliver about sauteing the scallions first. But if you go with the root ends, it's a lot more robust, but also drier, so it won't get slimy and wilted.
Brian, you need to take it easy on Jamie. He gets a lot of flack from everyone now since Uncle Roger like stirred the hornet's nest and everyone's attacking him.
We'll get them sizzling straight away.
No, you don't sizzle spring onion. Nobody sizzles spring onion. If you cook spring onion now, it will wilt. It wilt. This should be garlic. First step should be garlic.
You do have to admit, I mean, it's not like just one recipe or a random recipe there that we cherry picked. I have remade several recipes of Jamie's and I would tell you personally that they are disgusting, except for the carbonara. The carbonara was not that bad, but the rest of the butter chicken and the lasagna, I don't want to make the mac and cheese.
A little hack of a friend of mine that they swore by. And I tried it, and I did it as a blind taste because I swore that it wouldn't work, and it did. Mango chutney, 1 teaspoon. Slightly strange, but go with it.
What we're doing right now is setting up our mise en place, or we are putting in place our ingredients for the dish that we're going to make, which is crucial, which is also why I said to watch the video all the way to the end before you attempt this on your own, so that you have all your stuff in place when you go to make it.
Good old mise en place. In the professional kitchen, and it depends on which kitchen you're working in Europe, the word is used a lot more than it is, say, in the States. Mise en place is literally not just the ingredients that you have ready for service, but also the equipment that you may need to use in some kitchens, because it doesn't do any good by having the ingredients and then you're missing your knives, you're missing your spoons, you're missing your pots and pans, the 9 pans as well. It can screw you over.
This is gonna give you that fresh pop. And I'm going to mince this up, all right? I'm gonna do this on the thinner side. So this will add a nice visual to it, as well as, you know, adding great alkalinic pop, you know, that oniony pop. And we're gonna add this into the rice at the very end, all right? So that we don't wilt it down and we don't get it slimy, because this particular part of the scallion holds a lot of moisture.
Let's see what type of oil Brian's using today. I see in the distance avocado oil. Doesn't look like he's gonna be adding olive oil today. Jamie wouldn't be happy.
I prefer to whisk up my egg first. I've seen some chefs go straight in with the egg. Personal preference.
This happens a lot with chefs. It's very difficult for any 2 chefs to agree on how you cook everything, unless they come from the same school of cooking or the same chef that they learned under. It's very difficult. Chef Wong actually separates the whites from the yolks and cooks them separately. Chef Wong says that he extracts flavor or more flavor from the egg by doing this, and that it just makes a better egg fried rice. But not every chef is the same. Some chefs will even make a little hole in the center and add the egg directly into the center as you're cooking. So again, like Brian said, it depends heavily on the chef.
All right, we're at the stove, and remember, this video is aimed for the the person with a Western style stove, because not all of us have access to a gigantic high-powered wok stove, right? First thing we're gonna do, of course, turn on the flame, and we want it on the highest heat possible. But the key here is the quantity of product we're making here. Because remember, every time we add something into the pan, it cools down the pan, and it's gonna take some time for it to come back up to temp that we need.
This is very true, and this is also why whenever we're making something like steak, or even when you're adding a cold product from the fridge directly to the pan, because the colder the product, when you add it to the pan, the more it's going to drop the temp. Also, the more you move it, the more you're going to affect the temperature of the pan. The same thing like with frying. If you're moving the fries a lot and as the frying, it's going to drop the temperature.
I'm guesstimating here about 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil, all right? Maybe that's 4 to 5, give or take. I'm eyeballing it.
Normally, we don't weigh and measure a lot of things in the savory kitchen. We guess. But with experience, of course, comes more skill, and you're able to guess more correctly on what ingredients you need. Also, if anyone's wondering why Brian has aluminium foil underneath his stovetop, is to collect all the crap that collects on the stovetop as you're cooking. Brian's adjusting his little oils. If you didn't have OCD, you probably do after working in a busy kitchen. You will have to organize your setup. Even if it's a mess, it needs to be an organized mess. That way you know where everything is.
The oils hit the smoke point, screeching hot. First thing we're doing, we're going in with the egg, okay? I'm keeping it in motion, and when it's about 2/3 cooked,
It's so fluffy!
I go in with my spring onion and garlic, okay? Gonna just spin that around, break up the egg a little bit, and before we do anything else, we wanna fold this rice into the egg.
Now, sometimes in the professional kitchens with a real wok station, you will see the chefs cook the ingredients individually and then add them in together at the end. But when you're at home, the way that Brian's doing it is easier. But if your pan is a little smaller than what Brian's is, you need to take out the ingredients and cook them separately.
And you can see I'm using the bottom of the spoon to help break up those clusters of rice to try to get the individual rice grain structure, okay? This is a Western style stove. It's not as powerful as a wok stove. So it's okay, I don't necessarily need to keep this in motion all the time because I'm trying to keep the pan as hot as possible, all right? But remember, we're doing a smaller portion, thus we have more surface area on the pan to, again, try to get that wok hei on this, all right?
You can still get that wok hei taste in the home kitchen. It's just not going to be quite the same, or not as easy to get it than it would be with a professional setup.
Spin it, and then break the clusters as I spin it. And what's happening is, every time I spin it, the oil's getting in between the rice, and it's gonna help separate the rice or keep the rice separated.
I do have to say that the rice that Brian is using looks to be perfectly cooked. That little rice cooker did a wonderful job. I mean, look at the little granules. They're not sticking. Bloody robots. They start with the rice, and then they end up walking the dogs, and then Terminator.
Hasta la vista, baby.
And again, I'm just showing you the most basic form of egg fried rice. This is something I would do for my family if I need a quick meal to put together. You can get as fancy as you want. At this point, you can start to put in some roast pork or beef or chicken or shrimp, whatever you want. I'm just keeping it basic, all right?
It all comes down to the quality of rice that you're using. If your rice is perfectly cooked, like his is, it will make a much better egg fried rice than, say, a rice that is super overcooked and mushy,
She make fried rice with wet rice, HAIIYAA.
which is just disgusting. It's like rice pudding.
Put some soy sauce directly on the pan. Again, trying to get that wok hei effect. I want to reduce the moisture content in the soy and almost get it to that burn point. So I'm doing just a couple tablespoons, okay? I have a little time because this is a Western style stove. I'm putting in a tablespoon of MSG and a little dash of white pepper, okay? The unsung hero of Asian cookery. And now, fold in this soy sauce.
Brian, I'd like to try this. It's starting to look really good, like tasty.
Cook on the pan a little bit. And while that's happening, just a touch, oh, no, that's the soy sauce. Just a little touch, maybe a teaspoon, yeah, I would say about a teaspoon of sesame oil right over the rice. Don't go overboard. No, I would say that was half a teaspoon.
Almost. He caught it at the last minute. It happens in the kitchen, especially when you're talking and everything. You sometimes lose train of thought and you grab the wrong thing.
All right, last but not least, heat off. Green onions in. I like a lot of green onions. Completely up to you.
I love green onions as well as chives and, well, onions in general. It's just that if you're going to go to the dentist or if you have a date after this, I would suggest not to eat too many green onions.
Once, twice, 3 times. That's all she wrote. Let's go plate. Okay, let's plate. I'm gonna go straight in.
The rice looks perfect. It looks beautiful. I mean, you can tell the little grains of rice are not sticking to each other.
We need a close-up of this. Look at that. This is Chef Brian Tsao's basic ass egg fried rice. And you know what? Sometimes the simplest stuff on earth is some of the best stuff on earth.
Made from the best stuff on earth.
This is true. Sometimes the most simplest things are the things that you enjoy the most. You know, to be honest, I think like before the 2000s and the 90s, when we didn't have all these computers and everything around us all the time, we just didn't take so many things for granted, I think, as we do today, because we're always glued to our phones. And the little things in life sometimes are very easy to miss.
Spoon, Uncle Roger, spoon, right? Nice grain separation. I can smell the sesame oil, the white pepper, the soy sauce. Let's take a bite. Oh, nice and steamy. Simple things in life that are always the best things in life. My cooking style, I always try to go or start with a classic and expand from there. And this is one of those dishes, if you get the basic first, there's no limitation to how wild and crazy you can go with it. Just no fucking chili jam, no fucking silken tofu, keep Jamie Oliver away from any fried rice, and you'll be good.
Poor Jamie. He gets a lot of flack, and not just from Uncle Roger, even from Chef Brian. And people think that I'm hard on Jamie. No, I'm not. I'm trying to be fair, but sometimes he does mess up, like really. And it's not even the chili jam. I mean, I bet you that he has added mango chutney to egg fried rice before, and he just hasn't made a video. He adds it to everything, more than the chili jam.
Then we're gonna go in with a good friend, right? Mango chutney. You want a couple of nice tablespoons. If you want to take the edge off the spice, put like 2 teaspoons of mango chutney. A little hack of a friend of mine, mango chutney, 1 teaspoon. Some pepper and 2 tablespoons of mango chutney.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, because this was an absolute blast. Let Uncle Roger know in the comments who needs an Uncle Brian title. Until next time, I am Chef Brian Tsao, not your typical chef, and I'll see you really soon.
Personally, I know that Chef Brian is probably going to see this, so I want to say, Brian, you did a fantastic job. I would love to cook with you. Seriously, I really would. And review some Jamie videos as well.
Woo! Yeah!
Actually, out of all the fried rice videos that we have reviewed, Brian is definitely in the top 3 with a home stove on top of it. For everyone that doesn't know Chef Brian, go over to his channel after seeing this video, say hi to him from me, be sure to subscribe because he is a very good chef and he has some excellent reviews as well. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my videos, and what are you waiting for? Subscribe, hit the like button, share, everything, the bell notification too. Be sure to check out the next video coming up here, maybe a Jamie video. And until next time, take care. I'll see you again very soon.